Let me be brutally honest with you right now. If she's acting a little distant, it doesn't always mean she's losing interest. In fact, sometimes it means the exact opposite. She's so into you that she doesn't even know how to handle it. She's caught in this crazy whirlwind of emotions, and instead of running toward you, she might pull back because her feelings are too intense. And the problem is, most men will read that pullback completely wrong. You might think she's avoiding you, playing games or losing interest, when really, she's struggling to keep her emotions in check because she cares too much. I want you to understand something really important. Women don't always act in ways that make sense to men. Emotions rule us, and when we feel something deeply, like love or attraction, it can make us behave in ways that seem contradictory. She might text less than usual, seem distant at times, or even snap at you over small things. And the truth is, it's not because she's trying to hurt you. It's because she's overwhelmed by her own feelings. She wants you, she wants connection, but she's afraid of coming off too needy or desperate, even if all she wants is to be close to you. So before you panic or overanalyze every message or interaction, take a step back and pay attention to the patterns of her behavior, not just the moments when she seems distant. There are subtle signs she's actually obsessed with you, thinking about you constantly, and yes, sometimes pulling away simply because she's trying not to scare you off with how much she feels. In this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain and teach you exactly how women behave when they love too much. I'll show you the truth behind the distance, the moods, and the mixed signals. And by the end, you'll start seeing her actions in a completely different way. And it's going to change how you respond to her entirely. Let's get into it. 1. She pulls back when she feels too much. Here's something most men don't get. When a woman pulls back, it's not always about losing interest. Sometimes it's exactly the opposite. She's feeling too much, and she doesn't know how to handle it. Think about it for a second. Imagine she's been texting you non-stop, laughing at all your jokes, making plans to see you. And then suddenly, she seems quieter, maybe even distant. You panic. You start asking yourself, is she losing interest? Did I do something wrong? But here's the truth. She's overwhelmed. Her emotions are intense, and she's trying to catch her own breath. For women, love and attraction aren't always calm or steady. They hit like waves, sometimes gentle, sometimes crashing. If she's feeling everything too intensely, the excitement of seeing you, the longing when you're not around, the fear of getting hurt, pulling back can be her way of managing it. She's not rejecting you. She's just trying not to drown in how much she feels. I remember a situation where I was completely into someone, texting him constantly, thinking about him all the time. But one evening, I didn't reply for a few hours. He panicked, sent a dozen messages, and started overthinking. What he didn't know was that I was scared of how much I cared. I didn't want to seem clingy. I didn't want him to feel pressured. And honestly, I was trying to protect my own heart. The pullback wasn't about losing interest. It was about handling the intensity of my feelings. Men, here's the key. If a woman is pulling back, don't automatically assume it's rejection. Look for patterns of care and attention outside those quiet moments. Does she still check in with you, even subtly? Does she want to spend time with you when she can? Does she reach out in ways that show she's thinking about you? If yes, she's not avoiding you. She's wrestling with how much she loves you. And here's the tricky part. The more a woman loves, the more she fears overstepping. She might act distant or even snap over small things, not because she's upset at you, but because her emotions are so strong she doesn't know how to express them calmly. That's her way of coping. If you panic and pull away, you risk creating distance where none needs to exist. But if you stay grounded, understand her pullback, and respond with patience and confidence, you create a safe space for her to express her feelings fully. So the next time she seems distant, pause before you jump to conclusions. Her quiet moments might actually be her way of protecting the love she feels. And if you understand that, you'll see a depth of care and attachment that most men completely miss. 2. Obsessive thoughts she can't control. Let me tell you something most men don't realize. When a woman is in love, her mind doesn't just think about you sometimes, it thinks about you constantly. And yes, even when she seems calm or distant, there's a part of her that's replaying your conversations, analyzing your messages, imagining your future together, and wondering what you're doing right now. It's not obsession in a negative way. It's just the intensity of her emotions. Women process feelings differently than men. While a man might compartmentalize and forget for a while, a woman carries her thoughts with her. She notices the little things you do, the way you smile, the way you treat people, even the way you laugh at a bad joke. Those details stick in her mind because she's emotionally invested. And sometimes it can feel like she's distant or pulling back, but really, her mind is just overactive with how much she cares. Here's the truth. When she texts less, takes longer to reply, or seems preoccupied, it's often because her brain is working overtime. She's thinking about how to act, what to say, how to show interest without appearing too eager. She's replaying moments in her head, wondering if she impressed you, if you like her the way she likes you, and even if she's doing something wrong without realizing it. Her thoughts can make her nervous, cautious, and yes, even a little unpredictable. Men, the trick is understanding this without overreacting. If she's thinking about you constantly, she's emotionally invested. That pullback you see, it's not a rejection, it's the weight of her feelings. Women don't want to smother someone they love, and they don't want to appear desperate. So sometimes their obsession goes quiet, hiding behind composed behavior, while internally they're analyzing every interaction with you. And here's something you won't often hear. This intensity can make her vulnerable. She's emotionally exposed, and every little action you take, whether you respond warmly, ignore her, or even tease her a bit, can trigger a flood of feelings. That's why her behavior sometimes seems inconsistent. It's not manipulation. It's just the natural side effect of caring too much about someone. If you recognize this, you'll start noticing the subtle signs. She remembers small details. She reaches out in ways that show thoughtfulness, and she's emotionally reactive in ways that show she's attached. That attachment isn't always visible on the surface, but it's there. Quiet, intense, and very real. And understanding that is the key to seeing how much she truly loves you. 3. Emotional roller coasters are a sign of love. Here's the thing most men completely misunderstand. When a woman seems moody, hot and cold, or unpredictable, it's not always a bad sign. In fact, it can be one of the clearest indicators that she cares more than she knows how to handle. Love is messy, intense, and confusing for women. And when feelings are strong, they don't always come out calmly. That roller coaster of emotions, it's a reflection of the depth of her attachment to you. Think about it. A woman who barely cares will act predictable. She won't get nervous before a date. She won't overthink your texts. She won't get jealous or excited over little things. But a woman who loves too much, everything matters. Your words, your tone, your actions, they trigger her feelings. One day she's playful and warm, the next she might seem distant or hesitant. That doesn't mean she's losing interest. It means she's processing the intensity of what she feels. Men, here's the thing. Women don't separate logic and emotion the way men do. We feel deeply, and sometimes those feelings spill out in ways that seem confusing. She might be texting you a lot one day and then go quiet the next, not because she's playing games, but because she's trying to regain control over her feelings. She wants to love you fully, but also doesn't want to appear vulnerable or desperate. That tension creates the emotional ups and downs you notice. You also have to understand how fear plays into this. When a woman loves too much, she's afraid of losing you, afraid of making mistakes, and afraid of showing her heart too openly. That fear mixes with excitement, desire, and longing, And the result is what you see: highs and lows, unpredictability and intensity. If you can recognize that, you'll stop overreacting or getting frustrated at what seems like inconsistency. Here's a key insight. The emotional roller coaster is a sign she's invested. It shows she cares about how you perceive her, she values the connection, and she feels deeply for you. A calm, indifferent woman won't give you this kind of emotional energy. It's messy, yes, but it's real. And for the man who understands it, it's actually an opportunity. It's a chance to respond with patience, confidence, and reassurance. Not to chase, but to show her that she can feel fully with you without fear of losing your respect or interest. So the next time she seems intense, moody, or unpredictable, pause before judging. That energy is love. It's depth. And it's a signal that she's in it fully, even if she doesn't always know how to show it gracefully. Recognizing this changes everything. You start seeing her behaviors not as games or confusion, but as proof of how much she actually cares. 4. Her actions speak louder than words. Let me tell you something most men miss. When a woman loves too much, what she does is far more important than what she says. Words are easy. Anyone can text "I miss you" or "I care about you." But actions? Those reveal the real depth of her feelings. If she's putting in effort, paying attention to details, and showing up for you in little ways, that's her love speaking louder than anything she could type in a message. Women show affection differently than men. Sometimes it's subtle, remembering something you mentioned offhand, noticing when you're tired or stressed, or making time for you when she's busy. Sometimes it's bigger, planning something special for you, supporting you during tough moments, or defending you to others. These actions aren't casual. They're proof that you occupy space in her thoughts and that she values the connection deeply. Even when she seems quiet or distant, pay attention to her patterns. Does she check in when she knows you're having a hard day? Does she notice small things you like and try to incorporate them into her gestures? Does she make an effort to connect with you consistently, even if it's not always perfect or obvious? These are the signs that she's invested, even if her words don't always match her emotions perfectly. Here's the thing. Women often hold back words because we're afraid of seeming too eager or vulnerable. So while she might not say, "I love you," or "I can't stop thinking about you" all the time, her actions can say it in ways that are undeniable. Showing up for you, caring in small and thoughtful ways, and prioritizing time with you, those are the signals of real attachment. Men, this is why so many of you misread love. You focus on what she says, on the texts, on the tone of a single conversation, and you miss the bigger picture. A woman who loves too much is constantly signaling through actions, even when she doesn't say it. If you learn to notice those moments, you'll start seeing her love clearly. You'll understand that her pullbacks, her quiet moments, and even her moods aren't rejection. They're part of how she processes her feelings while still showing up for you. So next time you feel confused, stop obsessing over words alone. Watch what she does consistently. Her love isn't always loud or dramatic. Most of the time, it's in the small, steady ways she chooses to care for you, even when it's difficult for her to admit it. Actions, not words, are the real proof that she's all in. 5. Conflicted between need and fear. Here's something men often misunderstand. When a woman seems hesitant, it's rarely about lack of interest. Most of the time, it's a tug of war inside her. She wants you desperately, but she's afraid of losing herself or being hurt. That tension can make her act distant, cautious, or even a little confusing. But it's actually a sign of how deeply she cares. Imagine this. She wants to see you, text you, and spend every free moment together. She's thinking about you constantly, planning things she wants to share, imagining conversations, and picturing the future. But then, a small fear creeps in. What if she comes on too strong? What if she overwhelms you? What if showing how much she needs you pushes you away? That fear is powerful, and it can cause her to pull back, hesitate, or even second-guess her feelings, even though her heart is fully invested. The struggle between need and fear is real. On one hand, she craves your attention and validation. She wants to feel close, loved, and secure with you. On the other hand, she's terrified of appearing too dependent, too clingy, or too vulnerable. And the more she feels, the harder it becomes to balance these two sides. That's why sometimes she's warm and attentive one moment, and quiet or hesitant the next. It's not gamesmanship. It's emotion. Pure, intense, overwhelming emotion. For men, recognizing this is huge. When you see a woman pull back, don't immediately assume she's losing interest. Look for the subtle signs of her attachment. She checks in, remembers small details about you, or goes out of her way to make you happy. Those actions, even if mixed with moments of caution, tell you she's fully invested. She's just wrestling with her own feelings. Here's the important part. Patience matters. Respond with calm confidence, not panic. Don't chase her or punish her for hesitation. Instead, create a space where she feels safe, expressing her love without fear. The pullback isn't rejection. It's her way of managing the intensity of her emotions while still wanting to be close to you. Understanding this changes everything. You stop seeing her hesitations as a game or a lack of interest, and you start seeing them as proof that she loves you intensely. So intensely that it's almost scary for her to show. When a woman is conflicted between need and fear, she's revealing the raw truth of her heart. If you notice it and respond wisely, you don't just keep her interested. You deepen her attachment in ways most men never realize. 6. She watches you, even when she's silent. Here's a truth most men completely miss. When a woman loves too much, she notices everything, even when she's quiet. You might think she's distant, distracted, or not paying attention, but in reality, she's observing you constantly. Your words, your actions, your moods, all of it sticks with her, even if she doesn't say a thing. Women are wired to pick up on details. A small smile, a change in your tone, the way you react to something she says. She remembers all of it. And when she loves too much, these observations aren't casual. They become part of how she thinks about you, how she anticipates your needs, and even how she plans her next move to stay connected with you. It's not stalking. It's emotional investment. She wants to understand you deeply because you matter to her more than she often admits. Even when she doesn't text you back right away or seems busy, she's still present mentally. She's replaying conversations, wondering how to make you happy, thinking about what you said, and noticing how you interact with others. That's why her actions can sometimes surprise you. She seems quiet, but then she shows up with exactly what you need, or remembers something small that matters to you. That's love in motion. Men often mistake this quiet observation for indifference, but it's the opposite. When a woman is invested, she's constantly attuned to your world. Every subtle gesture, every word, every glance becomes part of the mental map she's building of who you are and what you mean to her. And when the right moment comes, all that silent attention translates into action. Thoughtful gestures, meaningful texts, or being there for you when it counts. Here's what you need to understand. Don't measure her love by how loud it is or how often she speaks. Measure it by the consistency behind her attention. A woman who truly cares doesn't need to announce it constantly. Her love is in the quiet awareness, the subtle touches, and the way she shows up in ways you might not even expect. When you realize this, it changes how you see her silence. You stop panicking or overanalyzing her quiet moments. Instead, you understand that even when she's not speaking, she's engaged, she's present, and she's thinking about you. That's how deep her feelings run. And it's one of the clearest signs that she's not avoiding you. She's loving you too much to ever truly step away. 7. Stop misreading her signals. Here's the hard truth most men need to hear. If you constantly misread her signals, it's not her problem. It's yours. Women aren't complicated because we want to be. We're complicated because emotions run deep and love is intense. If she loves you too much, and you're reading distance as disinterest or hesitation as rejection, you're missing the point entirely. You're letting her feelings slip through your fingers simply because you don't understand how women process love. Let's be clear. Mixed signals are real, but they're rarely about manipulation. When a woman pulls back, goes quiet, or seems moody, it's often because she's overwhelmed by how much she feels. She's not testing you. She's not playing games. She's navigating her own heart while trying not to scare you off. Yet so many men react the wrong way. They panic, they chase, they demand explanations, or worse, they withdraw. That's when the dynamic shifts, and she starts questioning whether she can even show you her feelings safely. You need to take a step back and ask yourself, am I seeing her actions clearly, or am I trapped in my own assumptions? Is she actually distant, or am I projecting fear and insecurity onto her behavior? Women who love too much often give off contradictory energy, but that contradiction isn't rejection. It's passion mixed with caution. And if you can't read that correctly, you risk pushing her away before she even gets a chance to fully express her feelings. Here's a wake-up call. Stop trying to decode every word, text, or gesture. Start paying attention to patterns, consistency, and effort. Does she make time for you? Does she care about your happiness? Does she show up in ways that matter, even when she's scared? Those are the real indicators of love, and if you miss them, you'll keep misjudging women and sabotaging connections that could be meaningful. Men, the best thing you can do when a woman loves too much is match her emotional awareness with patience, calm confidence, and understanding. Don't overreact to quiet moments. Don't punish her for being vulnerable. Instead, create a safe space where she can show her love without fear of judgment or rejection. When you do that, you stop misreading her signals. You stop overanalyzing every interaction, and you start building a connection that feels natural, strong, and genuine. So here's the bottom line. Women who pull back, act moody, or seem inconsistent often do so because their love is too big, not too small. If you want to understand her, respect her, and keep her invested, you need to stop misreading her signals. Look deeper. Pay attention to effort over words, and learn to recognize the signs that she's not avoiding you. She's loving you too much to ever walk away completely. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear. If she's pulling back or acting distant, it's not always because she's losing interest. Sometimes she loves you so much that she doesn't know how to handle it. Her emotions are intense, her thoughts about you are constant, and her actions, even the quiet ones, are proof of how deeply she cares. The problem isn't her behavior, it's how often men misinterpret it. If you keep seeing distance as rejection or moods as manipulation, you're missing the signs of real love. A woman who's invested in you fully will show it in ways that aren't always obvious. She will notice the smallest details, care in subtle ways, and even pull back at times just to manage her overwhelming emotions. That pullback isn't a lack of interest. It's the opposite. She's thinking about you constantly and protecting her own heart while still wanting to be close to you. So here's what I want you to do. Pay attention to patterns over moments, effort over words, and actions over texts. Learn to see her love clearly, even when it isn't loud or dramatic. If you understand this, you'll stop panicking over her moods, misreading her signals, or pushing her away with your own insecurities. I want to hear from you. Have you ever misread a woman's pullback, only to realize later it was love all along? Comment below with your experiences. I'll be reading, responding, and helping you understand women better. Remember, when a woman loves too much, it's a gift, not a game. See it, respect it, and handle it wisely.